Now that you understand the 7 elements of charisma, you can use these as a measurement system as you move through the Unleash Your Voice course. Your first speaking assignment is just to introduce yourself. For 30 to 60 seconds, introduce yourself the way you would at a party or at a job interview or at a networking event. All you're going to do is talk about who you are and what you're about. You are going to need to record it. So get a camera or a phone and record yourself introducing yourself. Ideally, you don't want to do a selfie because you're going to miss out on a lot of the information that your body language and your vocal tone is doing if you do a selfie. So if you have a tripod or if you can put the camera quite far away so you can get your whole body into the shot, that would be ideal. As far away as possible anyway, because then you'll get a better sense of volume and body language. When you've finished recording your introduction, put the camera or the phone down and don't touch it yet. First, you're going to get your charisma checklist. Use that PDF that we have on file and rate yourself from 1 to 10 on each of the 7 elements. 1 being awful and 10 being amazing. Rate yourself from 1 to 10 and write notes next to each element to explain why you gave yourself that number. The notes are actually more important than the number because the notes are going to make sense to you in a week or 2 weeks or 7 weeks' time, whereas the numbers probably won't. So make sure that you quantify why you said what you said. Don't just write good or bad, really quantify. I said 7 times, or I had no idea what to do with my hands. Things like that. Write down how it felt to speak. You are now evaluating yourself as a speaker. When you've done that, you can watch the video. I would take a break first. Go for a walk, do something else, come back and watch the video. But watch the video as an outside observer, not as yourself, as someone who doesn't know you. They don't know all your insecurities, they don't know how it felt to speak, they don't know what you were planning to say versus what you actually said. This is the first time they're seeing this speaker, and they have no prior knowledge of what you were supposed to say or how it felt. Then get another charisma checklist and rate yourself as that outside observer. Give yourself a number from 1 to 10 on each of the 7 points and write notes to quantify what those numbers meant as an outside observer. So now you have 2 charisma checklists. One is a speaker and one is an observer. Compare them. See if they're the same or if they're a little bit different here and there. That's where it gets really interesting because as speakers, we have certain feelings and certain judgments about ourselves, and sometimes they come across and sometimes they don't. And it's important to know how something feels versus how it looks in reality or how it comes across to your audience. So take some time to look at those 2 checklists and see how they relate to one another. You have a number of different speaking topics that you can use through the Unleash Your Voice course. So every time you learn a new concept, every time you learn a new trick or tip, take one of those speaking topics and record yourself for 30 to 60 seconds and rate yourself as a speaker, then take a break and rate yourself as an observer, and you'll start to really understand how these concepts work, how the practices come across in real life as opposed to how they feel, and you'll get a lot more out of the work. So you have your first speaking assignment. When that is completed, you are ready to start the videos on how to overcome stage fright and turn it into stage joy.